Have you ever wondered how long a person can survive in the middle of a nightmare? Imagine being stuck alone on a small boat in the ocean for 438 days. That's about 14 months. This is exactly what happened to Salvador Alvarenga, a fisherman from El Salvador. His story is one of the most unbelievable survival stories in history. In 2012, Salvador was 37 years old and living in Mexico. He loved the sea and was used to going far into the ocean on his small, roofless boat. November 18th started as a normal day. He went fishing with his 22-year-old assistant, Ezequiel Cordoba. They were only supposed to be gone for a few hours. People had warned Salvador that a storm was coming, but he didn't think it would be a big deal. They managed to catch a lot of fish. Around 1 in the morning, everything went wrong. The storm was so wild that their boat was shaking like a matchstick. Water was pouring in from every side. To keep the boat from sinking, they had to throw all their expensive equipment and all the fish they had caught into the sea. They tried their best to get back to shore. They were only 24 kilometers away when suddenly the boat's motor died. Then the radio stopped working too. The last thing Salvador heard from his boss was, "We're coming to get you." But nobody ever came, and the waves carried them deep into the ocean. It took 5 days for the storm to calm down. By then, they were 450 kilometers away from land, stuck on a 23-foot boat. The burning sun, cold nights, hunger, and thirst were unbearable. Salvador said, "I was so hungry I ate my own fingernails." Then one night, a turtle climbed onto the boat. They ate it hungrily and drank its blood just to stay alive. After that, turtles became their main food. To cheer up his friend, Salvador would slice the turtle meat, dip it in seawater to salt it, and cook it on the boat's engine. Over the months, the two became friends. They talked about life back on land and dreamed of being rescued. But one day, after a few months, Cordoba got sick. Why? They had eaten a bird that had a poisonous snake in its stomach. Cordoba survived, but he lost all hope. He slowly stopped eating and became weaker and weaker. One day, Cordoba said goodbye and tried to jump into the water, but Salvador stopped him. The young man had no hope left. A few days later, Cordoba died right there on the boat. Salvador couldn't bring himself to throw his friend's body into the ocean. For 6 whole days, he talked to the body. He said good morning to him and told him about rescue. Finally, he had to let him go into the sea. Now he was completely alone. After his friend died, only one thing kept Salvador going: thinking about his 14-year-old daughter. He hadn't seen her for years and had prayed to God to see her one more time, so he could be a good father to her. Once a ship passed nearby. Salvador screamed and waved his arms. The people on the ship waved back, but they thought he was just a recreational fisherman and kept going. That almost destroyed Salvador. He was ready to give up. But it seemed like he wasn't meant to die. After 438 days, on January 30th, 2014, Salvador suddenly saw land. An island. With his last bit of strength, he pushed the boat toward the shore. When he reached shallow water, he jumped out and grabbed a handful of sand from the beach. He later said, "I held some sand in my hand. It felt like a precious treasure." A couple found him on the beach. Miraculously, he had reached an island in the Marshall Islands, thousands of kilometers from his home. Salvador Alvarenga survived 438 days of storms, loneliness, and despair, but he never gave up. His desire to see his daughter again kept him alive. He proved how powerful the human spirit and hope can be. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and share it with your friends so they can hear this amazing story too.